Welcome to the Balls Talk Sports NFL podcast. And Victor, this might be the most insane thing we've ever done. We are completing the NFL expansion series, filling out our rosters. We have protected 16 players for every single NFL team. And since we did free agency last video, free agents are also off the table. We're going to be getting into the deep cuts today as we strive to build the best possible expansion teams that we can. Victor, did I miss anything?
No, this is, like you said, the most insane thing we've ever done. And we've done some pretty insane stuff so far. We did a 3-hour episode on our favorite players in the draft where we spent 20 minutes talking about like 7th round players. That was fucking insane. We spent 3 hours talking about Pro Bowlers, like our own personal Pro Bowlers in the middle of midterm week. But man, this is something different. I've spent a lot of hours on this. I know you have. Multiple hours last week picking our teams, and now we're going to go through more than 40 picks of unprotected NFL players between the two, but by each of us. So over 80 players will be picked, and I'll say there are a lot more players than that on our boards. I know your board is kind of small. You went with, these are my guys. I went with volume, so I've got 362 draftable players on my board. You know what I mean? So we're going kind of insane today, all right? This is going to be a fun episode.
There's something wrong with us, but I like to think that it's in the best way.
Yes, absolutely. This is what the Army comes here for.
So last episode, I promised that I would do my offensive and defensive coordinators. Well, the interviews have wrapped up, and we've made our decisions. I'll start with my defensive coordinator, and that is going to be Durante Jones, a guy who's coming along with Brian Flores for the Minnesota Vikings. He's their defensive backs and passing game coach. This is a guy whose career ended early. I think he only played a college season or two. It was something like a serious neck injury, and so that could shut down a lot of talented players early. But he went to work and has developed extensive coaching experience. He never got to the league, so he didn't have those easy ins. He had to start at a low level of college coaching and slowly worked up the ranks as a cornerbacks coach and a defensive backs coach, so taking out a little bit more, and then a defensive passing game coordinator, and then a defensive coordinator eventually at LSU. Only played one season there. Wasn't perfect, but he did coach guys like Derek Stingley, Eli Ricks, Cordell Flott, so a decent defensive roster. And then he found a job in the NFL with the Minnesota Vikings, and obviously their defense has been solid. I figured we just need a guy to get this group of defensive backs right, since Brian Flores can handle all the work up front. He is going to be the defensive play caller. So that's my DC, Durante Jones. And then as my offensive coordinator, this is a little insane, and you can call it unrealistic if you will, but it's going to be Mike Bercovici of the Carolina Panthers. He's never coached for the Carolina Panthers before. I figured, well, he's now been in a room with Dave Canales, the quarterback whisperer. However, I'm signing him based off of what he did before that. He was Cliff Kingsbury's offensive assistant in Arizona, and people don't look back favorably on Kingsbury's tenure in Arizona. However, the offense wasn't the problem. It was a lot of the overall softness of the team and the inability to run things at the top level. Obviously, Cliff Kingsbury is a really impressive offensive coordinator, and we're going to be trying to. What was that? Was that some disgust there?
No, I said absolutely. Cliff Kingsbury is a great offensive mind. His scheme's very well run. We saw it in Washington last year.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that because I didn't think I was going to get any complaints about this. I better not. I want a coach that knows how to do some QB run stuff, that knows how to move around mobile offensive linemen, who we have a lot of, and that's why I brought in a 32-year-old to be a first-time play caller in my OC.
Smart. All right. Well, I'm going to be honest. I don't know who this is. I've never heard of him, and I don't know how to spell his name. My best guess at his name spelled came up with nothing. So can you tell me how to spell his name?
I don't even know if this is right, but it is Mike, and then Bercovice. Excuse me, ICI. Bercovici.
Oh, I see him. Okay. Damn. 1993 is when he was born. Jesus Christ.
This guy could still be in the league if he was good enough.
Yeah, I mean, his last game was 2019. I mean, yeah, listen, it's not insane. Oh, well, it's kind of insane. It's kind of insane.
There.
But no, I mean, he was offense. That makes sense with Canales. That's interesting. I wouldn't have done it. But you know what? It's not his inexperience. That's the problem for sure. I considered Davis Webb to bring him as my offensive coordinator. I considered that heavily. He was probably my number 2. And he became a coach in 2021, just after he retired from the league. So it's not that. But yeah, it is kind of a crazy pick. But if it works out, man, the GM, he will be forever heralded for making that call. And also, I want to chip in. I absolutely, you picked Durante Jones, the DC, because he was the DB's coach for Wisconsin in 2015, right?
That played a little bit of a role.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, like I was considering him and a couple other players, and then I saw Wisconsin in his coaching resume, and I decided, yeah, that's the guy we're gonna go with.
Who are the other guys in play?
Oh, I'm trying to think of the other guy I was primarily looking at, and it was a much more experienced option. He was a head coach at multiple college universities, and he. Known
Nick
for
Saban?
Nick Saban coming out of retirement. He was known for a really hard-nosed style. There was an incident where he was running practices so intensely that multiple players had to be hospitalized, so he went out and apologized for that, which is the only red flag on his resume, that he apologized for that, since in Titletown for the Tundra, that's how we want practices to be run.
Brian Kelly?
I think he's with the Ravens right now.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. I don't know his name, though.
Let me look up. Yeah, this is a pretty big name player. Or, excuse me, oh, wait.
You think you have Chuck Pagano?
No. This is hard. Let me look up Ravens coaching staff, because, no, I'm thinking of an offensive-minded coach, which makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, I'm looking at our coaches right now. Nobody rings a bell. Travis Switzer?
No.
Because I considered him briefly for OC, Travis Switzer.
I want to find out who this is, because this is a coach who I actually knew of. Nope. Maybe by the end of the episode I can get it in.
Randy Willie Taggart. Willie Taggart. Oh, of course. Yes. Well, he's not showing up on the staff for some reason.
It's kind of strange. Extensive experience, a lot more qualified to run the offense.
Assistant head coach. He was under that. Yeah, okay.
There you go.
That makes sense.
So I went with the youth and the upside.
Makes sense.
Like ridiculous youth and upside, as in we might crash and burn, but hey, you throw him out if he doesn't work out, and then you bring in a new guy the next year.
Exactly. Can blame it on him.
Team. Yes.
Exactly.
We're all about the scapegoats here in Titletown.
A good decision. We believe in our coordinators, though. I think Gerard's going to do a great job. If you remember from last episode, Elson's head coach was Brian Flores. Mine was Anthony Weaver, and I picked Gerard Johnson to be my offensive coordinator and Brian Duker to be my defensive coordinator. So those are the picks. Yeah, why don't we? So good good coordinator picks for you, Elson. Titletown Tundra's looking nice. Why don't we go through our rosters one more time? We'll talk about the rules of the expansion draft, and we'll flip for who gets their choice of when they pick.
All right. So my roster real quick. Starting quarterback at the moment. We'll see if it stays that way. Jalen Milroe, and then LeQuint Allen and Alec Ioman are rounding out the skill positions. Will Campbell, Cam Williams, Tevin Jenkins, Dylan Radins, and Marcus Bowe is the offensive line. Josh Sweat, the big free agency splash, and Donovan Ezeraku on the edge. Poona Ford and Thor Griffith in the defensive tackle room. Christian Fulton and Eric Stokes as cornerbacks, and then Juan Thornhill as my sole safety.
Nice. All right, with the Oklahoma City Twisters, #1 overall pick in the NFL draft, we picked Cam Ward to quarterback the team, be the franchise quarterback. Got the hard-nosed runner Nate Noel at running back. Elijah Moore looking for a new start at receiver. Brandon Crenshaw Dixon from UDFA to a 7th-round pick for the OKC Twisters. Playing tackle for us, we brought in the vet Lucas Patrick to bring some experience to the offensive line. Then we spent most of our money in picks on defense with Draymond Jones, Bobby Brown, and Jay Toya making up the interior, Caleb Von Chason and Josiah Stewart on the edge, Dre Greenlaw, Jack Sanborn, and Chris Paul Jr. as linebackers. Ben Morrison is the lone corner on the roster right now, and Javon Holland, the big ticket free agent, and Billy Bowman as our safeties.
That linebacker room is absolutely insane. You basically don't need to spend any money here at all. You don't need to bring anyone in.
The problem is my board is much stronger on defense and I can't take more defense, you know?
You
So
can. You just
I
shouldn't.
absolutely can, and I will. Just for a preview, the highest player on one of the highest players on my board I'm going to take very early is at one of my strongest positions, and I have I'm not ashamed whatsoever. This is a defensive team. We're going to build that into our culture, and if we score 3 points a game, we want them to score 0 points a game. All right, it doesn't matter how many points we score on offense if we do our job on defense. All right, you get it? That's the
You can run up
philosophy
the
here.
score with the safeties.
Exactly.
You're going to be
Broncos have
scoring
two
in
safeties.
multiples of 2.
Exactly. 4-0 is going to happen all the time. 4-2 most likely, because Cam Ward is going to get sacked. They're going to start at the 25. Cam Ward gets sacked for 10 yards, gets sacked for 10 yards, gets sacked for 10 yards. But that's only going to happen once, because Brandon Crenshaw Dixon and Lucas Patrick are going to get the boys going.
Are you ready to get the draft underway?
Let's do it. All right. So basically, the rules for the expansion draft were that we each protected 16 players from every team. So I protected 16 players of the AFC teams, and then Elson protected 16 players from the NFC teams, of which our protections are below in the description. So if you want to do this yourself, do this exercise yourself, you can. Anybody that's not has a colored background, their name doesn't have a colored background of the team, then they are available. So we protected 16 players. Everybody else is free game except for free agents this year. So guys who went into free agency and signed with a different team, with a different team, that's the key part. If they went into free agency and signed with a different team, like for example, Michael Hecht went from the Rams and he signed with the Bills this year, he can't be drafted because he was eligible for the free agent draft. So that's the only caveat. Everybody else is free game. So if you weren't one of the most 16 important players to the roster, we can draft you, and that's how we'll do it. All right.
Don't forget the rookies though. You can't take rookies
Yes.
either since we did
You
the rookie
also,
draft.
yeah, you can't take rookies either. So, and rookies didn't have to be protected; they were a part of the rookie draft. But second-year players like Caleb Williams and Drake May and Jaden Daniels all had to be protected. So it's like that. How the draft order will go is someone's going to pick number 1, then the other person is going to pick number 2 and number 3, then the first person is going to pick 4th, and then the other person going to be picked 5th, and then it's just alternating order from there on out. And we are going to flip for who gets to decide where they pick. So if you win the flip, you can decide to pick, I want to pick 1st and 4th, or you can decide to pick that I want to pick 2nd and 3rd. We will flip a coin to see who gets to decide that. So do you want to flip the coin?
Yep, you set up the meeting, so I think you get to call it.
All right. Let's see. This is a big decision because I want my pick. I know what I want. You know what? We went tails never fails last time, and it did not fail last time. So tails never fails. Let's do it.
Oh. Sure enough, it never fails. I knew
Let's
it was
go.
over when you said it.
Yeah,
What do you want?
I want 2 and 3. I want the back-to-back.
Oh, I figured you would. I thought you were
Because I
setting
don't
me
think
up
you're
there.
I don't think you're taking my number 1 overall player with your number 1 pick. And if you do, props to you. But I want as many shots as I can with
All
the
right.
early guys.
So I'm looking at my roster. I'm looking at the players on the board. I'm looking at the biggest holes that I need to fill. Who do I have bolded on my board that I really need?
Are you drafting for need and not talent? How many times have we talked about teams doing stupid stuff like this? You're finally in the GM chair.
We're trying to win right now, Victor.
I'm not trying to win right now. This team isn't trying to win right now.
You know what?
We got a decent team. We could win right now. Go ahead.
I think I am going to side with talent over overall need here. And I'm going to grab Jalen McMillan from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was a guy who was just painful to leave unprotected, but the Buccaneers have a subtly really stacked roster with a great offensive line and some hyper-talented defensive backs, some really good running backs, and a fantastic wide receiver room. And when you draft Emeka Egbuka to be, you're number 3 at best, you're number 4 at worst, it's really tough to justify protecting Jalen McMillan. I think he's one of the most talented players on the board. Pass catchers are in surprisingly short supply. That's who I'm taking number 1.
That's a good pick. Hard to argue with it. You know, that he was the number 1 wide receiver on my board. So absolutely makes sense. Wasn't who I was going to go with my first pick, but that's a good pick. I was surprised to see that you left him unprotected, but then I looked at the rest of the Buccaneers players and I'm like, man, they've got a really good roster. And not surprisingly, I'm going to go to a very, very, very similar well that you did, selecting a Buccaneers player who catches the football. Give me Cade Otton with my first pick of
Ooh, okay.
the expansion draft. You guys know how I feel about him. I believe he was one of my Balls Talk Sports Pro Bowl picks last year. And he's that good at a very young age. It was a very easy decision who I wanted number one. All right, now I'm back up on the clock, and it becomes a little bit tougher. And you know what? I'm thinking, who do you have playing quarterback right now? Just
I
curious.
have Jalen Milroe.
Oh yeah, you're kind of set. So
Extremely set.
yeah. Oh well, I don't know about that, but sure, we'll say you're extremely set. I'm between a couple of guys right now. I really am. There's just a lot of great talent available that I don't want to miss out on. I'm gonna have to go with Jalen Ramsey here. Anthony
All
Weaver
right.
obviously knows him well. So I didn't protect. I was the one who did not protect Jalen Ramsey. I figured since the Dolphins were shopping him around, they wouldn't protect him in real life. So the Dolphins don't protect Jalen Ramsey. Anthony Weaver leaves, and he's going to take him with him. So he's a really good player. Is he older? Yes, but that is fine, and we're just going to get talent in the building.
I think that's a really solid pick. Jalen Ramsey at this stage in his career is still a fantastic player.
Yeah, make the defense even better.
Oh man, now this gets really, really tough for me because
Now it's to be clear, it's alternating from here on out. We're just alternating picks. No doubles.
you know what? Maybe this is something of a luxury pick, but in my opinion, still one of the best players left uncovered. Am I going to need to do some work at free safety to make the most of this player? Sure. I'm going to bring in Taylor Rapp from the Buffalo Bills, one of the few true quality starters available, a fantastic box safety, one of the best tackling safeties in the NFL. Some of his hits just achieve human highlight reel status. He has a knack for causing turnovers, just good awareness of where the ball is in the air, even if he isn't anything special in coverage on the back end. It fills a role on our team for sure.
Yeah, monster. Good pick. High on my board as well. Now up with number 5. Man, it would be way too early to take the guy that's highest that I want to take, because I don't think you've got your eye on him. But you might, which makes me want to take him. But I'm not gonna. I'm gonna go instead with a very, very talented center in Cam Jurgens.
Completely fair. Yep.
Fits the zone scheme that we're trying to run real well. Learned under Jason Kelsey, and that's just that's something that makes a guy really good. And last year he looked really good, so we're excited to bring him in.
Easily the number one center on my board. I don't think anyone here is even comparable.
Yeah, and plus, we need somebody to protect Cam Ward, because otherwise we've got a 33-year-old free agent getting paid like $2.5 million and a UDFA. So need somebody.
Now, I'm wondering, do I go with a pick that's going to be perceived as a big time reach, but I think it's the best value for my team, or do I really try and get smart with this and go with a player that I think is going to be higher on your board? Going to consult my team real quick, and yeah, I'm going to go with, I think, the consensus higher player, and that's going to be Chamari Connor of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow.
Just a nickelback who plays with his hair on fire. You can blitz him. You can play him in man or zone. Not a lockdown cover player or anything like that, but we don't have a starting nickel, and now we have a starting nickel.
Yeah, I mean, Chamari Connor, he's a good player. I'm a big fan of him. I thought he was going to be more of like a little bit lower down the board. I could steal him, but no, he goes off higher. So yeah, he was not on my board this early. I do think he deserves to be drafted this early. So good shout out by you. But yeah, good pick. I love Chamari Connor. He was one of my guys in the draft a couple of years ago, and he's been real nice for Kansas City. All right, so here we're looking decent. I'd like to get more weapons for Cam Ward, but we got Cade Otton. I don't think I'm staring down the barrel of you taking my number one guy. And I don't think there's anybody that really stands out to me on the offensive side of the ball. So I'm going to go out there. I'm going to take B.J. Ojolari.
Love it. He was high on my
I really
board.
love. He fits the system really well as a 3-4 end, and The guy really hasn't gotten a chance due to injury and overall a muddied Arizona defensive line and an Arizona system. We're going to go in here. We're going to put the resources of the team behind him and let him work. Former second-round pick and a damn good one at that.
All right, now I'm going to do something aggressive. This is probably going to be considered a reach, but I know what I have, and I'm going to take Matt Gonzalez of the Indianapolis Colts
Oh, he was
to
high on my
start
board.
on the right side for me because there are a couple other players I would be comfortable starting, but Cam Williams, who is currently my starting right tackle, is sure as hell not one of them. He was considered a reach by a lot of people. Where did they take him? In the third or fourth round last year. A guy who a lot of evaluators didn't get around to until late in the process, and he got out there late in this season and was actually pretty solid in both phases. So probably my starting right tackle right there.
That's a good pick. He was the number 2 tackle on my board. So
let's go.
Definitely nailed it. I feel like you're not staring down the barrel of this, and it's absolutely a luxury pick. But I'm going to make luxury picks because I want the best players possible. I'm going to take Brian Brzee, the Saints interior defensive lineman.
Okay, pure pass rush specialist. I don't mind that. You need that heat to come from somewhere.
I think we can teach him how to run, defend. I think we can. He showed it at Clemson. He hasn't seen it, but I mean, the Saints defense has been so fucking dysfunctional since he's been there. Dennis Allen and this whole system has been awful. Get him in a good system, good culture. Anthony Weaver teaching him. I think we got something here. And he had like 8 sacks last year, something crazy.
He had a lot of pass rush production. Fantastic first
good
step.
Pass rusher.
All right, now I better target a position where I literally have no one on the roster, and to play will linebacker for me, I'm going to take Jalen Carlies of the Colts. Just a really good cover player, solid tackler. You might say it's a reach, but I need someone who can cover the pass from the linebacker position.
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm surprised he went over Nakobe Dean. Very surprised, but the injury.
I'm not going to lie. I forgot that all of these linebacker players all these Eagle players were still available. Because I didn't write them down for some reason, but that's where the money's made here is the players your opponent didn't write down.
I'm not gonna capitalize on the mistake. I'm not gonna take Nakobe Dean because my linebacker room already looks really nice. I don't think you're staring down the barrel of it, but I want to do it. And I don't even know if he's like a top 5 receiver on your board. I don't even know if he's on your board. I'm going to be what I truly am. And what I truly am in my heart is a cokehead. Give me Jalen Coker.
That's awesome. Okay. So he was on my board. Not a guy that I was going after hard, but I get it. How can you not love Jalen Coker?
He's my guy. I'm taking him. He's the number 1 receiver on the team. Give somebody other than Elijah Moore to throw the football to.
Now there are a lot of different directions I could go, but I better not get cute here. I'm just going to take my starting quarterback, Justin Fields. I actually really like Fields to be the starter here.
Fields?
Wait, why?
Yeah,
because he's a free agent.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how I didn't notice that.
You have to spend the money on him.
All right, now I got some stuff to think out. I got to go to a backup plan. That's fine.
If I didn't take Ward, I was going to go with Fields as my quarterback in free agency. So, but yeah, that sucks that your quarterback plan. There is a quarterback that I'm surprised that wasn't your first choice, but now I know Fields was your guy. So
now I got to think about what position I want to go to since I don't have the obvious QB option. You know what? I'm glad you shouted him out. I'm just going to pick Nakobe Dean. He can play that more run defense oriented role. He's got to healthy up, but one of the best players left on the board overall.
100%. Looking at the board here, I think it's time to grab a tackle. I'm going to take Trey Pipkins.
All right,
we need the line. And
I'm wondering if I should dip into that well as well.
That seems high for some people, but it's not when you see the available tackles. It's bad. And I didn't draft tackle, so I need to go out there and get a good one. And is he good? No, but he can start, and he's not gonna kill Cam Ward.
I'm going to go offensive line as well, and I'm going to go to guard. And the guard pool is really deep, but ultimately you got to pull the trigger on some of these guys. And David Edwards of the Buffalo Bills stood out to me as one of the actually, maybe not a quality starter, but a solid, legit starting quality player who's available on the offensive line, because there are a lot of iffy, like he can start in a pinch guys. There are a lot of starters who are 31, 32, 33 years old here. David Edwards is only 28. He's a good fit for the zone system we're running, and I'm happy to bring him in.
For sure, for sure. I am going to go out there. I'm going to pick up Juju Brents, Colts corner. Very good. It's shocking that he is not protected, but then you go and look at that Colts roster. You try to do the exercise, try to protect 16 players on that Colts roster. It's very difficult. They have a lot of talent on that team, and Juju Brents was just the odd man out.
He was really high on my board as well. Yep, I had him bolded.
It's tough
I'm
at
thinking,
this point. There's so many guys. It's just like all of them are would be lateral on an NFL board. It's so tough to make a decision.
I'm kicking quarterback further down the board, pretending that problem doesn't exist.
Watch me take your guy as my backup.
And you know what? At some point, you got to take the good players. So I'm going to bring in Dallas Goedert of the Eagles, who somehow is barely even a player I considered protecting for Philadelphia. That is how good the roster is right now.
Yeah, the Philadelphia's roster is so good. And if Cade Otton wasn't protected, Dallas Goedert would have been really highly picked. Yeah, it makes absolute sense. Now I'm up. I'll take a gander at my roster. Let's see where I'm at. In a pretty good spot. I like what I've got. I don't really need to. So I think I can make a luxury pick. One that's not necessarily necessary, but one that I do need to fill the position. I'm going to take Tank Bigsby. Running back. Jags running back. Love him. Love him coming out of Auburn. He's just been awesome since he came out. He can run anything, and we're trying to be a very multiple front here. You know what I mean? We want guys who can run zone or man running. So run schemes. Tank Bigsby fits the bill.
He was the number one running back on my board.
As he should be. Though there are some good running backs.
With that, though, with kind of I don't want to call Tank Bigsby a bona fide 3-down starter, but with the guy with, I think, the most complete skill set out of the picture,
sure.
This gets a lot tougher, and there's a little bit of a bigger premium on running backs. I'm going to go with Jaylen Warren of the Steelers, who has some really high-end elusiveness. He can catch some passes for you. I'll need a power back, but I like bringing him in, getting a guy outside of LaQuint Allen to be my running back.
That's very nice. Yeah, you will need a power back, though. That is tough. All right, so I'm up.
Victor, side note, you've seen that Gatorade water bottle I carry around. It's like, it dates all the way back to high school. I love it because it's super convenient. There is currently the butt of an earwig sticking out of the top, and that's really upsetting to me. So I'm just going to withdraw this earwig real quick. Always, there we go. Got him. And I'm going to throw him across the room. All right, taken care of. Resume.
Nice job. All right. Now that's taken care of. I'm going to go with a pick that I don't know if you'd make, but he's very high on my board, and we need that position. I'm going to take Amik Robertson.
He was pretty high on my board as well.
Yeah. He's the fourth corner on my team. But, now you look at this corner room, Ben Morrison, Jalen Ramsey, Juju Brents, and Amik Robertson. This is nice. This is a nice cornerback room. I'm liking this a lot. Can play man. Absolutely can play man, but we can also play zone.
So there's something I need to check on for my pick. Is Bryce Huff eligible, or was he a free agent this year?
He was a free agent last year, wasn't he? But he just got very little play time, right?
So he is with I thought he was with the 49ers. Was he with the Niners last year as well?
Oh, he's with the Niners now? I thought he was still with the Jets.
Oh,
he was traded, so that means he's eligible.
Okay, because I saw him on my board, and I wasn't sure if I screwed it up.
Yeah.
We're going to add a little bit more pass rush juice. They didn't take advantage of him much last season. I still think he's got it to be one of the better designated pass rushers in the NFL. Is he a little redundant with Donovan Ezaraku? I don't know. They win in slightly different ways. Pass rushers are always going to be at a premium.
Oh, yeah, 100%. All right. I'm going to go back to the offensive line and I'm going to take Isaac Sumalo, another guy that can kind of do a lot of stuff. And as you can see, I'm not really going with young guys on the offensive line. Obviously Cam Jurgens is young, but I don't really want to go with young guys early a lot because there's not any young guys who I really feel I can start. You know what I mean? So I think we're just going to try to build the line as we go for the expansion team. We're not going to try to do everything at once. You know what I mean? The offensive line is going to be a work in progress. Where we get some older guys to come in and play meaningful snaps early.
It's so hard to build a young offensive line that can also, not be
Play.
terrible. So I understand. Yep, bring in the mentors and bring the young guys up with them.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to go back to defensive line pass rush, and this is going to be a true DPR. This is probably a little bit of a reach. Maybe it's because he's a hometown player for me, and he's going to stay in his home state. Carl Brooks of the Green Bay
Oh,
Packers
good
cannot play the run, but one of the better third defensive tackle pass rushers in the NFL. So we don't have that guy on the roster. We've got Poona Ford. We've got just a pure, strong 2-eye type. Brooks is right now a starter, so I got to add some guys with more sand in the pants there as well.
super funny player because the first time I looked at his draft profile, I saw he was an edge, and then I looked at it, I was like, oh my god, that must be a typo, right? No, he's actually 305 pounds. He's a very weird player. But I'm going to go to almost identical for almost identical reasons, and I'm going to take Lucas Van Ness.
Yep, developmental. I see
Yeah,
the upside.
and you look at our team right now, our edge room, it's nice. Caleb Chason, Josiah Stewart, BJ Ojolari, but there's one thing they all have in common. They're below 250 pounds, and they're not great run defenders. Lucas Van Ness, for all his faults, is a solid run defender. And we can bring him in to do that year one while we teach him up. Weaver's very good with pass rushers.
And the defensive line run is not going to stop because I'm going to go with one of the few quality starters on either offensive or defensive line remaining. The caveat being that he's 32. I'm going to pick Grover Stewart of the Colts to stop the run.
Damn good player. Damn good. I mean, it hurt me to not protect him, but man, he is. You got to look at this Colts roster, man. I'm telling you, it is very good. And also, by the way, every Colts lineman is good. Like, they're good enough. Every Colts lineman is on my board. Every single one that they employ. Whatever they've got going on in that offensive line room is absolutely nuts, and it is incredible.
All they do is have good linemen. That's a good way to win football games.
It's a good way. All right, so we picked up Tank Bigsby with running back, but I think I want to double dip. I think I want to double dip early. Tank Bigsby's more of a power guy. I want to get a finesse guy, and I want to get a guy who can catch passes. Give me Tyrone Tracy.
Oh, yep. Probably RB2 on the board. There's another guy I got my eye on, but letting him slip through the cracks hurts. It's a good player. And now I have Juan Thornhill as my second safety. I feel like the offense is in at least a respectable place. I think I'm going to keep the Buffalo safety tandem together, and I'm going to grab Cole Bishop, who had a pretty strong rookie season. Was he right up next for you?
He was my next pick.
Gonna have to rethink that one now.
Yeah. All right. Well, Cole Bishop's off the board. Yeah, he was my number one safety available. I love Cole Bishop. I think he's a really good pro. Oh, damn. What do I do now? That's the trip. Oh boy. All right. Well,
you draft Darnell Savage.
Well, so actually, you know how I talked about how I have the break glass in case of emergency? I even ranked those guys. Darnell Savage is the last safety on my board.
Dear God, I know he's terrible, but is he that terrible?
No, well, his contract's not good. He's old and he's bad. So yeah, he's below guys like Jonathan Owens, Miles Killebrew, Jalen Hawkins. Not good football player. I mean, they're fine football players, but man, oh boy.
Keep your hands off Jonathan Owens, by the way. I'm going to be picking him.
Nothing wrong with Jonathan Owens. He's if I'm drafting him, glass has been broken and there is an emergency. All right, so we're back at it. Just drafted Tyrone Tracy. My Excel spreadsheet keeps fucking up. I'm feeling really light at receiver, but there's no receiver I feel like is like a screaming value. You know what? Ooh, no. That's tough. Yeah, actually, I'm going to go with a guy who's not a receiver, but is going to catch a lot of passes for us. I'm going to go with Isaiah Likely.
Love it. Yep, he was high on my tight end board.
Like, is Otten, is he reductive? Like, is he redundant with Otten? I don't think so, because Otten is a blocker. Likely isn't. They're both mainly receivers, in my opinion, even though Otten is a solid blocker. But it's okay. I think we can run 12 personnel. I think we want to do some of that. I think this is a this is a good pick. I'm not sure though. I'm kind of having to talk myself into it.
I think that's a good arrangement because Otten can play Y and then Likely can play wing. And
Exactly.
like you mentioned, Likely's a good pass catcher, so not a lot of receivers screaming at you. Helps make up for some of that as well. Okay, this is probably going to be considered a wild reach, but I want to make sure that you don't get him. I'm going to grab Chris Abrams-Drain of the Denver Broncos as a
Yeah.
developmental cornerback. I thought he played pretty well when he finally got on the season last year. I'm feeling a little bit light at corner. Don't want to count on him as a starter, but I think he can play for us in a pinch in year one.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. He was low on my board, but if it got to that point, I would have taken him very easily. I love Abrams-Drain, but yeah, he wasn't jumping off my board. Um, I kind of want to go back to the cornerback. Well, and I'm surprised you didn't go with either of the two guys that are still screaming at me. Well, I'm not surprised because you didn't know who Corey Trice. Well, you knew who he was, but you didn't have him on your board.
I
So
literally do not
yeah,
know who Corey Trice is.
I'd recommend you
Literally.
draft him. I think he's a good player. So I'm not going to go with him. I'm going to go with Deonte Banks. If you wanted a developmental guy who can play snaps for you, I'm going to go with. I'm surprised you wouldn't go with Deonte Banks.
I think that's fair. He's shown flashes, but heading into year three, I just haven't seen the progress that I would like to from Banks. I think he
But I
can
feel like
start. I think it's totally fair.
Yeah, I feel like every time I see a Deonte Banks low light, it's just the most unfortunate thing ever happening to him. He's in the right spot, and then it's like something terrible happens. That it's like he gets a hand on the ball, but then it somehow catapults 50 yards into the end zone into the open hands of a receiver, and it's like on him. Look at the advanced stats; it's not bad. I think Banks is poised for a good year three.
So you're saying he's been cursed by God and that you want that on your team?
My Oklahoma City Twisters are already cursed by God. We want more of it.
Lean into
Bring
it,
it
make
on,
it the
Baldy.
identity. All right,
All
where to
right.
go now? There are two guards that I'm really excited about that I really want to bring in. But the
Yeah.
fact that there are two and I have both guard spots
Yeah.
filled comfortably currently, I don't think that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go with a swing tackle, and I'm going to bring in Wanye Morris of the Kansas City Chiefs. Where am I taking him a little early? Maybe. I thought that he was a good third tackle based on what he put on the field last year, and he also played some in 2023. Not a super high upside player, not a fantastic starter, but I think he can be one of the best swing men in the league. And he was actually one of the first football players that I ever watched tape on. I think that was back in like the 2021 draft cycle. I think it was over the summer of that year. So I have some nostalgia for Wanye Morris.
Yeah, Oklahoma guy, shout out. A little surprised because he was a useless piece of shit last year, but
He
no
was
offense.
not like a
I mean, he
bottom
was
tier
pretty
tackle.
bad. He
He
was
was
pretty
not
bad.
he was not like a Demontre Jacobs or like a
No, I mean, he
Nicholas Petty
passed the low
Ferrer.
bar. Yeah, he wasn't, but still.
I think he's a
Ooh,
good three. He's a good three to
yeah,
me.
he's a fine three. And if you already have the two tackle positions snuffed out, I can't hate it. You know what? I don't know what we need in our receiver room. We need talent. I mean, we have the cokehead, but that's not enough. You know, this
It's all
this would be a
time.
fun spot to take a quarterback. I'm pretty sure I know who you want. Um,
I got two. I got two I'm
you
comfortable
got
with.
two. I'm not gonna just torpedo it then. I'm gonna go with a guy who I think can play center or guard. Oluwatimi.
I like that. You know who one guy that I really wanted to bring in as a sleeper, but when I went through and revised my protections, I had to take off the availability board that was Cade Mays for the Panthers, who might
Yeah.
not even start for them this year, but unfortunately he's not available. So my center room is still looking not good. And I
He's no
think I'm
fail.
gonna
Cade Mays.
what was that?
He's Cade Mays. That would be a good pick.
Well, he's not here.
Yeah, I know, but like that would have been a nice sleeper pick.
I would have been happy with it, but unfortunately I'm gonna be happy with a terrible scheme fit for my more zone oriented offense. But I think the best center and one of the best linemen overall in terms of stock value that's available, and that's going to be Bo Limmer of the Rams, a
Yeah.
pure road grader, wasn't good in pass protection in year one, not the most athletic guy, but I think for a zone scheme, if you have 4 or 5 linemen really fitting it nicely, and then one guy who's just going to block his ass off regardless of what the scheme is, I think you can justify that.
Absolutely, you can. Um, yeah, no, Limmer's nasty. Now where do I go? It's a little high to take him because he's old and fine at football, but we do need a left tackle, so I'm going to go with Cam Robinson. Like,
He's old and he's fine.
Yeah, was he going to be taken? No, but I mean, we need a tackle who can start, and he's like the last guy left.
And he is like a legit starter. He's not a 3 to
Exactly.
me. He's a low end
He's a
2,
2.
but that's really different from like a Wanye Morris. You're comfortable starting
Exactly.
him.
So Robinson and Pipkins on both sides. Do I love it? No, but will it get Cam Ward killed? He's not going to be the most sacked quarterback in football, I don't think.
Look, my team, considering currently Jalen Milroe is starting for us, probably isn't going to be winning with an air raid type system. I need a really good backfield, and I'm going to bring in Tyler Algier from the Falcons. Be my
Nice.
power back.
Yeah, good player. Yeah, you needed power on that team. Good to get it. You know what? You did have plenty of options at power though. Montgomery, Robinson, and Pacheco. What made you decide to go with him over them?
I think after the injury, Pacheco's juice is just more or less
Yeah,
gone. And David Montgomery, he's getting banged up as well. He's also
that's
way up there
true.
in age. I love David Montgomery as much as a Packers fan can love any player who has played for the Bears and Lions. But I just think that Tyler Algier being in that timeshare with Bijan doesn't have quite as much tread on the tires. I think we can get a few good years out of him.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to take my backup quarterback, and I am going to make my quarterback room entirely full of former Titans. Give me Malik Willis.
Oh, that's not where I was going to go.
Really?
I respect it, though. Yep.
Packers backup, guy you loved, guy we talked about this year on the pod, telling, hey, this guy looks like he can run an NFL offense. Well, if we need to, Cam Ward is going to be our week 1 starter. If Willis wins the battle, Willis wins the battle, but that's the plan right now. But if we need Willis to come in, we feel like he absolutely can, and he can run, which is big for the Gerard Johnson system.
You're making me reconsider my picks in real time, but I'm going to put that off. We're going to ignore that. And I'm going to take Andre Yosivas from the Bengals to play in the slot for me. So now I have 3 competent receivers, and I'm happy with that.
Very nice. Yeah, I think I might do a back-to-back here. I think I'm going to take Michael Wilson just to get some size in the room. Jalen Coker's fine. He is not small, but he's also not that big. Michael Wilson's big, and he can run a slant.
Wilson's the better route runner of the pair, definitely.
Oh, yeah. I think Coker can get there,
though. Tight end's looking a little bit shallow. I'm feeling good about offensive line, but I think I could be feeling even better. I'm going to grab Jordan Meredith, guard from the Raiders, who really broke out down the stretch last year and was one of the better guards in football. I actually considered him for our Pro Bowl episode all the way back when, because I think he was returning from injury and he just looked like a changed player. So high upside for a 27-year-old, and the player I think can play even if he kind of returns to his baseline.
Absolutely. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait around. Instead, I'm going to go out there and get a flyer, but a guy that if it works out, man, we're cooking with something. I'm going to take Mozzie Smith. So much potential coming out of Michigan. And then the Cowboys absolutely ruined him. Get him with an elite defensive line coach like Anthony Weaver. See what can happen. That does mean that I have 5 interior defensive linemen on the employed right now, but I'm not ashamed.
I was going to say maybe just getting him out of Dallas makes him not suck. I mean, that's
Exactly.
not all that unrealistic. I think I have to go DB here because defensive back, both corner and safety, are looking only okay for me. And I'm deciding between a few players. I'm going to go with a player who was a big-time scapegoat last year on a terrible defense, and he had his fair share of really bad moments, but I think he's a playable, balanced corner, and I like that he cleaned up the tackling last season. It's gotten better pretty much every year he's been in the league. I'm going to take Cam Taylor-Britt of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Whew. Man, we do not see our boards on corners are not the same. I mean,
that's why I took
there.
Christian Fulton. Don't need a good cornerback.
Exactly.
Christian Fulton's enough, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. He can play all 3 corners. So my receiver room it's solid. Elijah Moore, Jalen Coker, Michael Wilson. It's looking good, but I feel like we're missing that stretching the field component to put the fear of God into somebody. And I think Jalen Hyatt can do that for us. Looked pretty solid for a rookie last year. We hope he can build on that and really just scare teams with his speed.
That's a sneaky good pick. I like that. All right. I'm going to do the thing that you would never, ever, ever think I would do. And I'm going to grab my move tight end, and I'm going to take Kyle Pitts. I can't believe I'm doing this to
Oh,
myself. He's going to
wow.
get eaten alive by the coaching
Wow.
staff, but I gotta. He's staring at me right now.
Yeah, I mean, when you see a guy with that much talent still on the board, I mean, something otherworldly prospect coming out of Florida. The best GM will think, even the best GM will, I don't know, man. It's like the Green Goblin mask calling to you. Year 5 breakout. Year 4, is it year 4? Year 4 breakout? Year 5 breakout?
It's
No, it's
got to
year
be
5.
year 5. Yep.
It's year 5 breakout. It could
It could
happen.
happen.
It could happen. And if I tell you what, if Isaiah Likely wasn't there, I would have picked Kyle Pitts too. So I don't blame you. All right. Looking at the board here. Kind of want to go with another receiver. Don't know who I'd go with though. Line is feeling a little light. Looking at line though, there's not much as far as guys that I really want to take. Take a flyer from somebody. Oh, might go with an edge. You know what? I think I got to go with a safety. And is this a guy? I don't think you're going to pick him at all, ever. But I don't think you'd pick him if we gave you 100 picks. But given what my team wants to do and who we've got in the safety room, I'm going to pick Harrison Smith.
I had him in italics as my break glass in case of emergency player
Right.
because taking him away from the Vikings just didn't feel right. But at the same time, it's like I'm kind of Vikings East now. Like
Yeah.
I literally have Brian Flores, so maybe I should have taken Harrison Smith earlier. I totally get it. Like still a quality safety at what, 36 years old?
Yeah, I feel bad that he doesn't end his career in Minnesota, but we need somebody to teach Billy Bowman how to tackle. And Harrison Smith is going to do that. That is his only job. Teach Billy Bowman how to tackle. And
He
that's
can
enough.
sign a 1-year contract or a 1-day contract if that's so important to him.
Absolutely. Absolutely he can.
So I have two pretty good linebackers. You know what? No, I'm not going to take the guy I was thinking of because you can do some of the blitzing stuff with Nakobe Dean. I could go back to linebacker because there are some players I really like, good
Are you
special
going to take
teamers as
Ivan
well,
Pace?
who are still available. No, he's protected, I think.
Oh yeah, he is protected. I was wondering why he isn't on my board. Yeah, good protection.
I was going to take an older, not as good player that I'm rapidly reconsidering. Ooh, nobody's really calling out to me. I think I'm going to go with some upside at cornerback, and I'm going to go back to the Indianapolis Colts, and I'm going to grab Samuel Womack III, a more man-oriented cornerback. I brought in a lot of more zone-type players, but I think it's good to have one man-oriented guy on your roster. And it's not like he can't play zone either.
For sure. Good pick. He was highlighted for me. Should I go with another old ass man? Should I do it? I mean,
yes, just build the team for now. Go all in.
Yeah, I kind of want to. I kind of go with. I'm stuck between two of them though. You know what? I don't think you're going to draft either of them. You want to help me make the decision? Who should I take to teach Jack Sanborn and Chris Paul how to play football? Demario Davis or Levante David?
Oh man.
I'm
Wait, who are
calling
you
my
teaching
fellow
how to
GM.
play football?
I mean, Chris Paul is really good at football, but he can get better. I mean, we want him to be as good as Levante David, as good as Demario Davis one day. And Jack Sanborn's on the roster. He's not very good at football. Teach him how to play football. I mean, he's fine.
Well,
But
do you want him to learn how to cover? Do you want to teach him how to defend the run?
I want to teach Sanborn how to thump. He's a Sam. He's not seeing the field on coverage.
You got to bring in Davis then.
Yeah, that's what I feel. I mean, but Levante Davis is also so good. Like, it's tough. I might just take both of them. I might just take the David.
Do it. I dare you. Take him back to
I'm
back.
going to take Demario Davis. Because, I mean, Demario Davis and Levante David would be pretty fun for 1 year.
That would be just the sickest thing in the world. I can't argue with that.
But we got Demario Davis, Dre Greenlaw, and Chris Paul year one. That's a nice. Like, Demario Davis playing the Sam, Dre Greenlaw's the Mike, Chris Paul's the Will. We're looking good in defense.
So I think I'm just going to pick 40 guards, and hopefully one of them can play center because all the other centers left on my board. I know I have a starter, but Yeah, it's rough. I'm going to grab Sean Ryan, another Green Bay guy. Just a
Yeah.
true bona fide starter who isn't the best scheme fit, but one of the most talented linemen left on the board.
Listen, I know I'm an opposition GM. I shouldn't be helping you out, but I am a Broncos fan. I watched Luke Wattenberg play this past year. He can start. He can start for you, and he's not going to be embarrassing. All right, like he's not going to be the worst center in the league.
And
Worst starting center in the league.
he cancels out Bo Limmer's inability to pass protect by
Absolutely.
being sort of unable to attack in the run game. So maybe if we can fuse them into the same player, maybe if we do a 2 center formation, you can get the best
You
of
get
both
Jason
worlds.
Kelsey.
It's exactly how it works.
Absolutely. All right. We're up. I feel like line is a little light, but there's just nobody that I'm in love with, right? At the position. Could take Wattenberg. But I already have a couple of nice centers. You know what? This guy is more of a man scheme kind of guy. But it's a guy that I think deserves another chance. Or I mean, I don't know, deserves another chance, but could use another chance. Could be a good player. I'm going to take Trevor Penning.
You'll have 20 holding calls a year, but I totally see the developmental upside.
He's not starting.
Not for at least 2 more seasons.
No.
My interior defensive group is feeling just okay, and I'm going to go with sort of a unique player, a 3-tech who is really good against the run, hasn't really fully unlocked a pass rush skill set, but I think he's pretty explosive, so the upside could be there, and that's going to be Jalen Redmond of the Minnesota Vikings.
Ooh, nice pick. Nice pick. Oklahoma legend. He was high on my board too. I'm glad that you saw that too.
I'm happy I'm taking your players away.
Yeah, that's the thing about these. When there's so many players, it's tough to take players from the other person. It's really tough to see who are you going to take. But you're doing a good job. I'm not. Man,
I wouldn't go that far. You're doing great.
Oh no, I'm doing a great job drafting, but I'm not doing a good job taking your guys. You know, man. See, he's not the best tight end on my board. But when I look at my tight end room, I don't feel like there's anybody who we want to run some variety, and we need a tight end who can man block. And man, this guy is good at it, and he's basically an extension of the offensive line. Give me Darnell Washington.
Oh, I wanted him right after you said that. You bring in one of the players who's high on my board. Yep, one of the best blockers just in all of football from the tight end position.
Absolutely. He's insane. And we knew that coming out of college. It was just like, he's a freak athlete who's a great blocker. Can he learn how to, because he's such a great athlete, but he's so big. It's just like, he's kind of this ball of fire that it's kind of have to harness, and no one's really been able to do that yet. He's been fine as a receiver. And it's not like he was the lowest guy on my board. I think he was 4 or 5, but yeah, this is what the team needs right now. And I think if we can get something out of him in the receiving game, like I think he got like 400 yards last year. If we can bring that up to like 600 with him and Otten. Now, obviously with Otten at tight end, he's not going to be getting 600 receiving yards, but the equivalent, the talent level of a 600-yard receiver as a starter, I think that's a success with him. And just as a blocker, he's amazing.
What's funny about these teams is even though we're both going to be lacking star power to like actually compete for certainly a deep playoff run, because I don't know, these teams are turning out pretty good. Maybe a playoff run isn't completely insane.
Wild card 3-0, divisional round 5-0, conference championship 6-2, Super Bowl triple overtime 3-0,
2-0. You're not getting,
of course,
3.
2-0. Yeah, we're playing a great defense. We're not getting 3.
But what I'm getting at is, like, in all seriousness, these teams are going to have the depth to actually do some nice things, because it's just going to be a ton of relevant young prospects, even if not all of them hit.
This is like the Pacers. This is like the Indiana Pacers of the NFL. Just a bunch of young guys and a bunch of young guys, like 13 deep young guys who can all play.
And we've seen how that turned out.
Yep. Hopefully they lose. Game 7 is tonight. By the way, the day we were recording this is Sunday. Game 7 is tonight. So you guys listening to this know what happened. But if you do not know, I am a diehard Oklahoma City Thunder fan. As you could tell, the Twisters organization, the Oklahoma City Twisters, are heavily rooting for the Thunder. And if they don't, man, it's going to be a bad week for the organization.
You know, we've got a rivalry going on here too, because I'm not the biggest basketball guy, but I've always appreciated the scrappiness of the Pacers. So
I like the Pacers. If they win, I won't be upset that the Pacers won. Like, I would be pissed if Boston beat us, but the Pacers winning, no big deal. I'd be happy for them. I'd just be extremely sad that we didn't win.
It's kind of the same way I feel about getting knocked off in the playoff by the Lions. If that ends up
Yeah.
happening sometime within the next decade of the NFC North, which looks absolutely insane.
Awesome.
Anyway, getting back to the draft, I'm going to grab Uchenna and Wosu
Yeah.
because Josh Sweat can play the run. That's fine. Donovan Izaraku, I think he can. We'll see how well his play strength translates to the next level. Bryce Huff, that's not his game. And I'm not saying like Uchenna and Wosu is some fantastic early down edge setter. That's not his game either. He is a guy who plays more pass rush snaps for the Seahawks than he does run defense, but he did more work early in his career, and I thought he was fine in that phase. He'll eat up a lot of early down snaps for us.
Absolutely. And he's a good pass rusher too. Like I think he had like 10.5 sacks one year with Seattle, which was like 2 years ago. That's a good player. He was
And you
high on my
you
board.
can drop him into coverage, like that's an option. So
Yeah,
I like that as
absolutely. I mean,
well.
very versatile kind of guy. I mean, he's not a superstar, but he's good. I'm going to go with a guy that I personally love. I think he was drafted in the 6th round in 2023. I had him as a 2nd round prospect. Parker Washington, the Jaguars receiver.
Yep, I had eyes on him as well.
Highest
Good young
receiver on my
player.
board. Yeah, he's very good. And I'm so glad that he's worked out because it is such a plant flag that I can plant. I mean, he's a competent starter. You know what I mean? Is he going to be anything more? Probably not, but I'll take a competent starter.
I only have 2 linebackers on the roster. Let me just scrub Demario Davis
Levante
from my
David.
board real quick. It's not going to be Levante David because the Mike linebacker position is actually surprisingly deep here, and there are a lot of them have injury question marks, but 3-4 players I think I would be comfortable starting. Maybe this is more of a my guy and not a guy you have super high on your board, but I thought in the terrible Cowboys linebacker room last season that just felt
No.
completely inept outside of Eric Kendricks. Like I said, Mike, I'm going to take Damone Clark. I don't know if you were thinking
Yeah.
of DeMarvion Overshone, but
No, I was
I'm
thinking of
happy to get
Damone
him in.
Clark. DeMarvion Overshown was hurt last year. DeMarvion Overshown's also high. Damone Clark is awesome. He was high on my board.
I don't see why they didn't have him playing more snaps earlier in the season.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, he was a really good prospect. He was going to go in the 2nd round, but a bunch of injury issues coming out of LSU, and never really got started due to injuries in the league, and just didn't see the field too much. But then he saw the field last year, and he looked really good. So not much to go off of, but there's enough that makes him draftable. So yeah, he was going to be coming up soon.
Definitely trending up.
Yeah. All right. Up to me. And you know what? I'm going to take another older guy, but just a guy that's productive, a guy that can bring some experience, because we have a guy who has a lot of similar players to him in the scheme. Give me Kyle Van Noy.
Oh, wow. He would have made a really nice edge setter for my team. A little old for my taste, but just a really good player because he can get after the quarterback as well. He's not a pure run defender.
I mean, dude, he had 12.5 sacks last year.
That is insane. There is no way the pressure to sack ratio bears that out, but that's a really impressive season regardless.
It's awesome. Kyle Van Noy is a good football player. I don't know if he was a Pro Bowler. He wasn't a BallsTalkSports Pro Bowler though, but a lot of guys like Josiah Stewart, BJ Ojolari, similar games to him, wherein that they can drop into coverage or they can rush the passer, and they have the capability to run defend, or at least they have the sand in the pants to do it, the effort. So Kyle Van Noy just kind of teaches them how to play that role.
You know who I'm majorly pissed that you protected is the Browns' Isaiah McGuire, because in terms of an ascending early down edge rusher, it's about as good as you can get.
You know who I'm pissed that I protected? Muhammad Diabate. Fucking love him. He's an awesome linebacker. Yeah, he's an awesome linebacker, and I had to protect him because he's a guy that you wouldn't expect to be protected, but he's a guy that I think in 2 years he will be a clear protection. But I did have to, because I had to be true to myself, had to be true to the board, true to the pod. So I did the right thing.
All right, I'm going to kick this off by drafting the first specialist. And the reason that I'm going with this player is because I think that he might have been number 1 on your long snapper board as well. And that is going to be the Jaguars' Brent Matisic, who actually, I believe, had a brother who was in the draft this year.
He is Ross Matisic, I believe.
Who also plays long snapper, so runs in the family.
He was not on my board for long snapper.
You suck.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, I guess, I can wait. I can put long snapper off till the end. I'm surprised that
we're gonna have a camp battle, 2-3 guys.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You better be concerned.
We didn't put a limit on picks, so we can go till we have a 90-man roster if we want to. Where are we? What is our roster strength right now? We've got 10, 13, 16, 19, 21, 26, 31, 35, 4. I've got 43 players.
Oh man, I probably have right around the same, 43, 44.
Yeah, wow. All right, so I think we may go more than 53 because there's still a lot of good players left.
Yes, there are some guys I'm excited about.
Yeah, you know what? And since we're at 43, I'll just take my long snapper. If you're going to do it, I'll do it. I'll take Morgan Cox.
I appreciate that.
Like he's
That's the right way to do things.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to a little bit of the special team as well because this player is a standout special teamer. However, a lot of that is because he's a surprisingly good tackler for his size, a smaller safety who will really stick his nose in the box, and that is the Bears' Elijah Hicks.
Ooh, very nice. Very nice. I like him quite a bit. All right. I really want to pick a developmental tackle to go behind my older guys. But I'm looking at tackle, and man, there's just nobody. Like Saldivieri is the highest guy on my board.
You're looking for offensive tackle?
Yeah, like Sal is the highest young, like developmental guy on my board, but I don't want to take him. He sucked. I mean, everyone on the Saints sucked last year. And we'll take, because he was a good athlete coming out of Old Dominion. We'll take Nick Saldivieri. See if we can make him into anything. Fits the system well.
He was high on my board as well. Yeah. I mean, of the guys who are left, I want to clarify
it's just
that.
Like there's just not many guys at tackle.
All right, I'm going to take the quarterback. And is this going to blow up in my face? Absolutely. We're looking for a good third stringer. I'm going to grab Hendon Hooker from the Lions.
I don't think a third string quarterback can blow up in your face, but yeah.
We're going to see. He's going to be my starter, and we're going to see if there's anything there with Hendon Hooker, who is barely playing. He's starting over Milroe. He probably won't actually be my starter, but
I thought you drafted another quarterback.
Nope, I have not.
Oh yeah. You went with Fields, but he was a free agent. Yeah, that's okay. Wow, Hendon Hooker, that could blow up in your face. Could.
Yes, it could.
Big time. Wow. Okay.
We're gonna hope for a strong run game.
Hopefully. Well, let's look at my roster. I want another running back. I am stuck between two guys. There's the guy that's highest on my board, and then I don't really have Tank Bigsby is a power guy, but he's not a pure power guy. Not a lower, he's not doesn't bring the punch as much as a Brian Robinson does. I might go with Brian Robinson. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to go with Brian. I'm going to go with a guy who brings the thump just as much as him. Probably a worse running back right now. Probably. In at least in many people's view. But at the end of next year, you ask people who's better, I think that Roschon Johnson could be high on a lot of people's boards.
I really like that. I'm a big Roschon Johnson fan as well.
Believe it. Coming into Texas, I mean, you look at Bijan Robinson's insane stats coming out of the draft in 2022. I was like, yeah, oh man, those stats are amazing. And then someone reveals the name on the player, and it's Roschon Johnson. Absolutely nuts. And he just hasn't been given an opportunity. He's still not going to get a great opportunity because we got Bigsby and Tracy in front of him. But I mean, man, you prove that you're the better running back. You'll play the downs. That's how we do it here in Oklahoma City.
All right, I'm going with my backup plan at quarterback because Jalen Milroe is going to be the backup plan. Maybe we'll work him in on some rushing packages early on in his career. I'm going to grab Aiden O'Connell just in case Hendon Hooker is awful.
Hendon Hooker. Wow. I'm shocked you didn't go with Joe Milton as your flyer.
I already have my flyer. Why would I want worse Jalen Milroe?
What do you mean worse? Did Jalen Milroe throw for 300 yards in an NFL game last year?
I was going to say in college, I'm sure he did a couple times. Probably a couple. Maybe 3.
Maybe. Heavy on the maybe there.
Hey, he was playing literal backups.
That's true.
In week 18.
Still, but if backups are better than NFL players. I don't know.
If Joe Milton hits and develops into a franchise quarterback, I will quit doing scouting.
I won't, because I told people, I was like, man, Joe Milton, he could easily do it. It's easier than you think for him. The ingredients are there. It's unlikely. It's like about as unlikely as the Earth forming, but that happened, and all the ingredients were there. So you know what? We'll just give it a chance.
It's an all-time comp to the Earth forming.
Joe Milton, pro comp, the Earth.
That's awesome.
That's his high comp. His low comp is a ball of gas. It's a million miles away from each other in the atmosphere and the universe.
Low comp is the heat death of the universe. Yep.
Yeah. What a player Joe Milton is. All right, back to football. I'm gonna go with a guy. I actually don't have an intro to him. I'm gonna take Roman Wilson. No intro.
Fair enough.
Just Roman Wilson. I have a lot of slot guys on the team. Elijah Moore, Parker Washington, Roman Wilson, but nothing wrong with it. He's also pretty speedy.
I'm going to bring in a player who's shown a lot of flashes and has shown a lot of flashes of not being impressive and also can't stay healthy, but 4 games a year, every single year you see it, and that's the Packers' Christian Watson.
I thought you were talking about Mike Evans.
What are you talking about?
I'm kidding. No. But
okay.
4 games every year, he's awesome. That's Mike Evans. And he can't stay healthy 4 games every year. It's Mike Evans. I mean, if you just remove the part about him being bad, because he's really good the other games. It's just 4 games every year. He looks like fucking Randy Moss.
See, little known fact, people talk about Evans as the epitome of consistency because of his 1,000-yard season streak. About 800 of those yards come in 4 or 5 games.
Yep. He's just insane in a few games and pretty solid the rest of the way. He's like the 21st best receiver for 12 games if he's fully healthy, and then he's the best receiver in football for 4 games.
Having him in fantasy is a trip sometimes.
It is. All right. Getting into the weeds a little bit. I feel like I'm good at every position now. I don't really need to go with anybody else. I want another safety. There's just something missing from that room. Javon Holland, Billy Bowman, Harrison Smith. There's something missing. I can't quite put my finger on it. I think it's a guy who can do everything, because Harrison Smith at this point in time just isn't like, he's not the fastest guy. He's not going to keep with somebody deep, but he can defend the run. But Billy Bowman can't defend the run and he can't tackle. I need to bring in a guy who can be the best of both worlds. I think I'll go with Damar Hamlin, Buffalo safety. I mean, obviously you guys know who he is, but a perfectly fine player who can play both. He's very versatile. Obviously everybody knows him for the what happened to him in the Bengals game, almost dying, but before that, he was a solid player. He comes back and he's a fine football player, and that's exactly what we need.
Man, looking at who's still available, I'm impressed. Like, there are still guys that I 100% want on my team.
Exactly.
And I think I'm going to take Michael Mayer here to be one of my my top blocking tight end, a guy who was projected to go really, really early. Then people actually watched the tape. So I was a pretty limited athlete, didn't run an overly complex route tree, but now he's sitting behind Brock Bowers and he's not doing anyone any good there. We'll run some 13 personnel. We'll get him on the field.
On the trade block right now. And if not, he might be cut. I don't know. Yeah, I believed in Mayer coming out of college, not going to lie, but hasn't worked out well. So no surprise, though. I'm going to go with a guy who is very, very heavy zone blocking, but since we want to run more zone, we're going to do it. I'm bringing Christian Haynes. He looked terrible in his first year in Seattle, truly terrible, but he was a really good prospect coming out of UConn last year. Looked real nice as a zone blocker. Just couldn't put it together in Seattle this year. Give him another year. We'll see if he can do it.
And you have Oluwatimi as well, don't you?
I do. I'm building Seattle.
You're reclaiming the Seattle interior offensive line.
I've got
maybe they'll all work out together.
I've got a lot of Titans on the team. I've got a fair few Dolphins, obviously. I've got a couple of Seahawks as well.
All right, I think it's getting to be special teams time, and instead of taking like the kicker, like the actually valuable position, I'm going to grab my definitely punt returner, maybe kick returner. We'll see how things shake out. Can also play in the slot, and that is the Lions' Khalif Raymond.
Solid, yeah. See, I'm just going to throw Jalen Hyatt at punt returner and see what happens.
Maybe he can do it. Yeah, has he done return stuff before?
I'm not sure. I feel like he had to. If you're that fast, you've done return stuff before.
He feels like a return man.
Yeah, for sure. But Khalif Raymond really, and he is a capable receiver. He's a guy that you can have on the roster listed in the receiver and feel okay about that. You know what I mean? He's fine at stretching the field and all that.
He's absolutely not a zero.
You can bring him in to run clear out routes or to run a bus ticket route on a stick concept and just feel good about it. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to give his all, and he's fast enough to draw the defense's attention deep. And yeah, is he a great round runner? No, but he'll do the job.
Did I hear the outside vertical route on a stick concept referred to as a bus ticket route?
Yeah.
I have never heard that before. That's awesome.
Well, I was watching a video a while back, and somebody called it a bus ticket route, and I was like, what the fuck does that mean? And he was like, okay, it's called a bus ticket route because if you don't run it with your absolute hardest, you're getting a bus ticket home. Because, I mean, that's the key. Because if you don't hit the outside shoulder and then run as fast as you can, that corner's going to come down and absolutely lay out your tight end on the Y stick. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
So you have to put your full effort into it. It's also called, I can't remember what else he called it. A bench route? No, it's not a bench route. That's something else. It's a bus ticket route. I can't remember. But
is a bench route sort of that medium depth out route, usually from a slaughter inline tight end?
Yeah.
Let's go.
It's half of the smash concept.
Elite ball knowledge right now.
There you go.
On both ends.
Yeah, but Khalif Raymond can run the bus ticket route. All right. I'm up. I might go with specialist. I don't think you're going to take my guy, though. We're going to be the Seattle Twisters. Give me Michael Dixon, Seattle punter.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
Oklahoma City just loves to take things from the city of Seattle. Continuing the tradition. It's amazing.
Right. Jason Myers, I think, is unprotected if you want to keep up the tradition.
No, I've got a plan for my kicker position.
Lame. All right, I better go punter as well. Like, I don't know why. You've shown your hand. I don't need to go punter at all.
Punter battle? What the fuck are you talking about? Because Michael Dixon's a franchise punter does not mean he's invulnerable.
Well, you're not getting Tommy Townsend, the hang time king of the NFL, rapidly ascending. Still pretty young. I'm happy bringing him in.
Wasn't on my board. The other guy, if you had taken Dixon, was going to be Pinion, the Falcons guy.
Fair enough. So you didn't have AJ Cole on your board?
Well, he's protected.
Oh, yeah. He was, I think, the only protected punter on your end, and I protected a few, but not a lot.
Yeah, I mean, AJ Cole, he's going to be a Hall of Famer when it's all said and done. You have to protect him.
Ooh, that's a little strong. I don't think he will be.
I mean, well, first of all, he's got the pedigree from the Raiders. You know what I mean?
True,
He's a Raiders punter. That's automatically going to give them the pedigree and the knowledge necessary. Okay, there's a Hall of Fame candidate, and he's a Raiders punter. Yeah, just put him in. The guys who don't watch ball, they're going to do that. This guy just doesn't miss every time. And I watch the Raiders a lot. He pisses me off. I hate him more than I hate a few really good Raiders. I mean, I hate him just as much as I hate Max Crosby. That's just a lot. Max Crosby. I hate Max Crosby a lot. I despise him, and I also despise AJ Cole. That's how good he is.
Cole absolutely
fits the
blueprint of a Hall of Fame punter. Yeah. Just like to a T. Plays for the Raiders, good at punting.
Tua Tagovailoa?
Wait, excuse me?
To a T.
Oh, God. All right, back to the draft.
We're deep in the weeds. All right.
That's awful.
I'm sorry. All right. It's your pick or my pick?
It is your pick.
I thought it was your pick. Who'd you just pick?
I took Townsend.
Oh, yeah. You're right. All right. What am I doing? Could look at another corner. Yeah. I'll go with my guy. Guy I've been talking about all episode. Give me Corey Trice Jr. Son of NFL, not legend or anything, but he was a solid NFL player in the 90s from what I've heard. Corey Trice. And keeping up the family business. He's been in the league for 2 years now. Been solid for Pittsburgh. We'll hope to keep it going in Oklahoma City.
I'm also going to pick a player who clearly has something of a family lineage going on, and that's going to be Arizona's Starling Thomas V.
Oh, yeah.
They're not going anywhere.
Star 5? Yeah.
I think him and Will Fuller are the only 5s that I've ever seen.
I thought Fuller was 4th.
Oh, he might be. He has the V in the name, but it might be Ivy.
Yeah. Because I feel like Star is the 4th as well.
I thought he was, but then I looked it up, and I was surprised.
Yeah.
He is, yep.
Wow. Interesting, yeah. there's a lot of good corners, man. It's tough. There's also a lot of good edges, and I feel like I don't need another one, but man, I want to take another one. I've got 5 already, but there's just a few guys like for reference. I mean, David Ajabo, Michael Hecht, and Tavius Robinson are all still available, and I want all of them. 2 of them are Ravens guys, obviously. Oh, Michael Hecht isn't available because he's a free agent. I used him as the free agent example. Why is he on my board?
I hate to
Lazy,
do
lazy
this too.
stuff.
I hate to rub it in, but it's also Hoyt.
Hoyt? Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I believe
I
so.
don't
I'm
know.
about 90% sure. And
Yeah.
to be clear, you have way more ball knowledge than me. I'm just like the name
Oh,
pronunciation guy.
I
Like
don't know about
that's
that. I
70%
think
of what's going around in my head.
I really don't think that I have more ball knowledge than you, Elson. I think we're about equal on that, and I might even give the edge to you, man.
It's a
We're
constant battle.
it is. It's a constant battle. It is really insane that we love football pretty much equally insane amounts, and we have about as much ball knowledge and are about as far into our scouting process, and we just happen to find each other at the podcast meeting. It's kind of crazy.
That was a revelation. I still can't believe that happened.
It's
Glad
pretty
it did.
awesome though. But it led to this at 5:49 p.m. on a summer Sunday, looking at a big ass Excel spreadsheet of backups in the
Correct.
NFL. I wouldn't have it any other way. All right, what is OKC doing with our next pick? I'm gonna take a kicker. Give me Dicker the kicker.
All right. I mean, you
Drafted him
can't
so
beat the
straight in.
nickname.
No, absolutely not. And you know what? He's a younger guy, and he was really good in really prime time moments last year. And he's been good for 2 years, and that's enough for me. I took him over Evan McPherson. You know what I mean? Who Evan McPherson had one really good year, and then was inconsistent for a year, and he was fine last year. Cameron Dicker had 2 really good years, and that is enough. If I can see you be consistent for 2 straight years under 2 different regimes, I'm in.
I'm actually not going to follow the back-to-back specialist trend. Well, I
How
kind of
dare
am.
you? We've
I'm
done
not
it the
going to go
entire
kicker.
time.
I'm going to go with probably the best special teams linebacker. I mean, Leo Chenal is up there, but obviously he's taken.
Yeah.
He was protected, right? Or did you take
Yeah, he
him?
was protected. There's no way.
I'm going to go with somehow another Kansas City Chiefs linebacker, and that is Cam Jones, who pretty much only plays special teams. But I believe he led the league in special teams tackles last year. He was inside the top 5, a young player on a rookie contract. So we're at that part of the draft.
Yeah, I mean, you watch Kansas City football, you know the name. This guy returns, punts. He's just always there, making plays. He's in the right spot at the right time. It's really impressive for a rookie, or not a rookie, but a younger guy. Looking at this roster, I feel nice about it. I need a third string quarterback, I think. I need a third string quarterback. We're at that point. Got Cam Ward, Malik Willis. Do we add another young wild card, Will Levis, Joe Milton type into the room? Oh my God, the microphone. No, it had lasted this entire time and it fell at the last second. Fuck. Okay. Not the last second, but close to it. Could I go with famous Jameis?
I was thinking about him. Yep.
I mean, he's technically a free agent, but yeah.
Oh, wait.
He is a free
You're
agent.
right.
So we'll take
Where
him.
did he go to?
New York.
I don't see. You can't think, can you?
No, I can't. It's tough with some of those guys because it's like, yeah, they're free agents, but they're also so irrelevant that who cares? I'm not going to take Kirk Cousins because I don't want to pay him $45 million. Yeah, I mean, I might as well just go with Joe Milton. Hope that I can pawn him off New England got 4th round pick for 1 game of Joe Milton. Surely we can get Dallas to give us another 4th round pick.
They got a 4th round pick for that.
Yeah, it's insane. They also gave a 4th round pick for Trey Lance. What is Jerry Jones doing?
And like something just like that for Jonathan Mingo as well, who did nothing for them last year.
It was also a 4th round pick. Jerry Jones just hates his 4th round picks.
It's like the 49ers throwing their 3rd round picks in the blender.
Literally.
We just get nothing for them.
I saw a picture of the 49ers last 4 years of drafting. How is their front office still intact?
They hit on the big ones. They have a rare ability to find superstars later on in the draft. George Kittle, I think Diamador, he was an acquisition, wasn't he? Diamador Lenore, not a draft hit.
I think he was a late round draft pick for them.
But Fred Warner for sure, Brock Purdy for sure, even Dominic Pooney this year was a really good pull.
Yeah.
They always find guys at the right spots somehow.
Yeah.
All right, so for my pick, I'm sorry, do you have something to say?
No. You're good.
I'm going to go special teams again. I'm going to take Zane Anderson at the Green Bay Packers. Did some work for the Bills as well. Fantastic special teamer. Had one of the best fumble recoveries that I have ever seen on a deep kickoff return, I think, from Keyshawn Nixon. That was punched out, and he just had fantastic awareness, dove on the ball on the short hop and covered it up. He has the tackle production, but we also got him on the field playing free safety a little bit last year, and he did not look lost. This is a veteran, but a guy who hasn't played much actual defense, so maybe a little bit of developmental upside still left in the tank.
Makes sense. Good special teamer for sure. You would know. Hold on, I'm trying to get this microphone. We're gonna freehand it for the rest of the way.
That's just how we do it here.
Yeah. It lasted an hour, which was nice, but alas. All right, who's left? What do we look? Okay, I got to take a fullback, right? I'm going to take Patrick Ricard.
Love it.
Got to get
I'm
him.
gonna grab Austin Booker of the Chicago Bears, developmental prospect. Edge room looking a little bit shallow, so I'm happy he lasted this long.
Yeah, solid player. And if he develops into anything, it's a high end 3, low end 2. Probably just going to be a rotational player, but I mean, we're at that point in the draft. You can get a rotational player that's solid. I want another linebacker. Ideally, one with some upside. One who can, you know what, in 4 years, 3-4 years, if Dre Greenlaw wants to leave, he can slide and play the Mike role. Is there any? Yeah, okay. We're gonna take Servaccia Dennis, Pitt linebacker, 2 years ago, drafted the Bucks, hasn't really done much, but I liked him a lot, and what we have seen hasn't been awful, and he's got the tools to be good.
I'm surprised I didn't have him on my board. That is a good pick. I'm looking for my kicker now, and I did a good job protecting all the kickers that I really wanted. So no Brandon Aubrey. I could take Chris Boswell, but he's a million years old. I could take Jason Myers, but he's getting up there in age. Jake Bates is protected. I think Chad Ryland is protected. Let me check on that real quick.
Chad, isn't he the Patriots kicker?
No, he got cut because he sucked for them. Now he's on the Cardinals, I believe. Yup, he's protected, as is their young punter. Oh, I'm scrolling down the kicking list to see what we've got.
You want me to give you my number 2 kicker?
Yeah, who is it?
Will Lutz.
Oh, he's up there in age though, isn't he?
He's 31 or 32, I believe. Which for a kicker,
I want someone young. How old is Cam Little, the Jaguars?
He's young. He was drafted, or he was in the draft a couple of years ago.
He's 21 years old. Does he have the track record?
Yeah. He's solid. He was solid for the Jags last year. I felt like he wasn't great or anything, but project.
5 for 6 on 50-plus yarders. Did I protect him? That's the last thing I have to check.
He was the AFC player. I didn't protect him.
All right. Bring him in.
There you go. Cam Little. Little kicker. So our kickers are Little Dicker.
They should run a camp.
They really should. I mean, the expansion teams, people are going to want to talk to him. How did you get drafted? Of all of these available kickers, how did you get drafted? The Little Dicker camp will tell you.
It's all in a name.
All right. I feel like we don't have many picks left. I want to get a couple more in. Do I need another running back? No, but I'm going to take Trey Benson anyway.
Good upside swing.
Second round. And he's been solid. So, feel fine about him. I liked him a lot coming out of Florida State. Showed a lot of flashes. And continue to show those. We'll see if he can turn it into anything. Got the highest upside, I think, of anybody on the running back room right now.
I think I currently have 58 players.
You do? Let's see how many I have. 8, 9, 15, 18, 22, 26, 28, 33, 38, 43, 49, 53. I have 56.
All right. One more pick each?
One more pick each. We got to make it count.
So the players who are left on my board that I would really like to bring in, are, I mean, I wouldn't mind a fullback, but Hunter Lepke, Carson Steele, not anyone I'm ridiculously excited about.
Juice.
True, but he's older.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't snap up Ricard, because Ricard is a fantastic fullback. Romeo Dobbs is still here. Hollywood Brown's still here. I'd like to bring in Noah Gray. Thayer Munford on the offensive line. Same with Ezra Cleveland. Intriguing enough player. Not bad for a 27-year-old. Dealt with some injuries. Christian Mahogany. He was good in flashes last year for the Lions, stepping in. Folu Fatakasi, whatever. DJ Reader is still here. Wasn't fantastic last season, but if you need a nose tackle.
Also played a little hurt.
True, so maybe some upside to clean that up. Overshown is still here. Derek Barnes and Malcolm Rodriguez still available. Cordell Flott, Mike Hughes, Jaquan McMillan, Beanie Bishop, Storm Duck, fantastic name.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I got to go value on the last pick, and I'm going to grab Christian Izien of the Buccaneers to play sort of a backup nickel role.
Yeah, makes sense. It's a good pick. Now, with my last pick, what do I need? I mean, I think I'm pretty good on everything, so I kind of just go with whoever I'd like, wherever I see the value. I'll do the similar thing, call out guys who I'd still left on my board. Will Levis, David Montgomery, Brian Robinson, Isaiah Pacheco, Kamani Vidal, Zach Charbonnet, all running backs still available. Like you said, Dobbs, Atwell, Troy Franklin, Hollywood, Tolbert. Gesicki didn't get picked. Luke Musgrave didn't get picked. Robert Havenstein, Blake Fisher, a couple of right tackles left. Tyler Steen, Zach Zinter, Andrew Voorhees, all guards that were next up on my board. Might go with one of them. I don't think either of us went with Luke Wattenberg, did we?
Nope, he has not been picked yet.
We didn't pick Eric Armstead or Broderick Washington. Broderick Washington would be a solid pick. I already have a million interior defensive linemen, though. David Ajabo, Tavius Robinson, Levante David, Ernest Jones, Drew Tranquil, Balin Spector, DeMarvion Overshown, Keely Ringo, Tyreek Stevenson, TJ Tampa, Ennis Rakestraw, Beanie Bishop, Kobe Durant, Mekhi Blackman, Honey Badger, Kevin Byard, Sidney Brown, CJ GJ, Donovan Wilson. All guys that were still left. In case you wanted to know my number 2 long snapper, it was JJ Jansen, Panthers.
Okay, I like that.
I want to pick all of them, but alas, I have to pick one. And if I'm gonna pick one, I think it's gonna be Zach Zinter, because I really did like him, but he got hurt. And we're going to hope that the reason that he hasn't seen the field in his second year is because they didn't trust it yet, and he's going to come back and be awesome.
Of the Browns, right? That's where he wound up playing? Okay. Do you want to read off the rosters? That was wild.
Let's do it. Let's read off the rosters. And you know what? You tell us in the comments below. Who has the better roster? Not necessarily for this year, because obviously I have the better roster for this year, just because I took old guys. Oh, hold on. I'm going to take back my last pick. Would you mind? Okay.
No, go ahead.
Because I got a lot of young guys on the interior defensive line. I need an old guy, and there's nobody older than Calais Campbell.
All right.
We got to teach him how to play. We got to teach him up. Did you know
have
that
mentors for your mentors?
Exactly. Well, we don't have any mentors at the interior defensive line room. That's like the one room where we don't have one. So we got him in. That's the roster. That completes the roster. There we go.
All right. So I'll read off my impact players, and you can do the same.
I'm gonna
QB room. Go ahead. Hendon Hooker, Aiden O'Connell, Jalen Milroe. Running back is going to be headed by Jalen Warren and Tyler Algier. Wide receivers, Alec Iomatter, Jalen McMillan, and Christian Watson are going to be the starters. And then when Watson goes down, we'll plug in Andre Yosibash.
Of course.
Dallas Goedert and Kyle Pitts as my tight ends. The offensive line is Will Campbell, Matt Gonzalez. It's going to be a battle between Matt Gonzalez and Wanye Morris. Tevin Jenkins and David Edwards will be the starters, with Jordan Meredith and Sean Ryan coming off the bench. And then Bo Limmer, probably the center. Maybe Sean Ryan can play center. We'll see about that. We'll find the best 5. In the edge room, Josh Sweat, Donovan Ezaraku, Uchenna Nwosu, and Bryce Huff. Interior defensive line, Poona Ford, Grover Stewart, Carl Brooks, Jalen Redmond. pretty shallow linebacker room, actually. So maybe we'll sign a guy in free agency. We'll make adjustments, of course, to the roster. N'Kobe Dean, Jalen Carlisle, and Damone Clark. And then a deep cornerback room that includes Christian Fulton, Cam Taylor-Britt, Shamari Connor, Christian Izzian, Samuel Womack III, Starling Thomas V, and Chris Abrams Drain. And then finally a safety group of Taylor Rapp, Cole Bishop, Juan Thornhill, and Elijah Hicks. Specialists, Cam Little, Tommy Townsend, Khalif Raymond to return, Brent Matisic as the long snapper. And then the team is just chock full of impact special teams coverage players.
Incredible. What a roster. All right. The Oklahoma City's Twisters final roster, at least for now. We got rookie Cam Ward, running quarterback, and Malik Willis and Joe Milton to back him up. Tyrone Tracy and Tank Bigsby running things in the running back room. Patrick Ricard is the fullback. Jalen Coker, Michael Wilson, and Elijah Moore as the 3 starting receivers, with Parker Washington getting a fair few snaps in between there. Cade Otten running things at tight end, and Isaiah Likely and Darnell Washington will get plenty of snaps too. Trey Pipkins and Cam Robinson are going to be a right and left tackle, with Brandon Crenshaw Dixon being the swing tackle, and Nick Saldivari as a athletic kind of work in progress. We'll start Isaac Sumalo and Lucas Patrick at guard, and have Trevor Penning come in if he can figure out how to not foul on every other play. Cam Jurgens is going to be our standout center, with Olu Timmy backing him up. Got Bobby Brown and Jay Toya to swap out snaps to the nose tackle, with Draymond Jones and Bryant Brzee being more pass rush centered 3 and 5 techs. Josiah Stewart, Bijo Jolari, Lucas Van Ness, Kyle Van Noy, Caleb Von Chason. No one's really getting more snaps than the other. It's going to be a committee approach. We've got Dre Green. I think we're probably going to make Dre Greenlaw the Sam instead of the Mike. We're going to make year 1, Demario Davis is going to be the Mike. Dre Greenlaw is going to be the Sam. And Chris Paul is going to be the Will. Jack Sanborn might get some snaps. We'll see. Jalen Ramsey, Juju Brents, Ben Morrison, and Amik Robinson. We'll play a lot of dime with them, and some nickel. And some, obviously, a lot of base as well. But those will be our 4 corners. Deontay Banks, we'll see if he can do anything. And then Javon Holland will never leave the field, and he will be accompanied by half of Billy Bowman and half of Harrison Smith. Long snappers, Morgan Cox. Kickers, Dicker the kicker. And punter is Michael Dixon.
So I have a question about your special teams committee.
Yeah.
Was there some intentionality there? Like, were you looking for
I didn't even realize with Cox. Cox, Dick, and Dick. Cox, Dicker, and Dixon. Man, I got to type.
It's a unique approach to special teams, but
absolutely
I like
incredible.
it. We'll see how it works out for him.
Hopefully that'll get us some interactions on the Instagram.
That is one hell of a special teams camp right there.
Honestly, not even intentional.
I think I lose. I lose based off that alone.
Absolutely, you do. 100%. I win. I'm crowning myself the winner of the expansion draft.
I feel like we both won, to be honest with you. You won the competition.
These are
I won by being part of this.
Yeah, these are a couple of nice teams. I think it really obviously just depends on personal preference. You give 50 random guys the choice of which team. I think 25 and 25 either way, just based on how you see the game and how you see the players. Because everyone, obviously, when it comes to guys like this, you don't get as many snaps, and we just don't see as much of. Everybody gets different exposure. Everybody sees a different player. So that's what's fun about this exercise. There was very little overlap. If we picked a 53-man roster without the other person, there would obviously be a fair few players that were picked by both, but there would also be a lot of players that weren't picked by either. So a very fun exercise, and I'm glad we did it.
I think that probably 20 people would pick me, and 30 would say that Hendon Hooker sucks at football and shouldn't be your starting quarterback.
Yeah.
So that would be the deciding factor. But hey, we're playing this long term.
The number 1 pick did help me out quite a bit, but who knows? Next year, Cam Ward's a bust for Tennessee. People will pick yours, 40-10. But if he's a bust for Tennessee, just letting you know, that's Brian Callahan's fault. That's not Anthony Weaver's fault. Anthony Weaver would make him the best thing since Tom Brady. So.
You think next year we protect more players, or I don't want to say next year, but whenever we do this again, because I'm sure that we will do it again at some point in the history of the podcast.
For sure. Yeah, 100%. I don't know if it'll be next year, but maybe next year we'll do a little add-on at the end of the episode, and we'll see how our team is at an end of a random episode. We'll see how the expansion team is faring, and we'll do a 2026 draft for the expansion team.
Now
I
that
think
would be awesome. That would be sick.
like we'll see how our late round flyers, like our young guys, we'll see how they panned out. What is the current state of the roster? That'd be fun.
We got big plans. We got summer scouting
Oh
coming
yeah.
soon. It is going to be the summer of Balls Talk Sports. If anybody was insane enough to listen to this whole thing, one, what's wrong with you? Two, we might want to have you on the show because that's a level of dedication that not a
Absolutely.
lot of people possess. And three, Victor, you have anything else to add?
Man, like you said, honestly, we're such a small podcast. If there is anybody actually listening who does enjoy the content and you're a ball knower, feel free to DM us on Instagram if you want to come on the show for a little bit. That would be awesome. Like this.
Ladies and gentlemen, and I say man because we're talking to one guy right now. We're talking to the one
Hey,
guy listening.
it might be a woman.
It could be. Lady or gentleman, as always, listen to the Balls Talk Sports NFL podcast and stay hard.